What's up? I'm Ari from Wirefly.com, and we've gotten a couple requests here at Wirefly for a Wirefly cell phone Schmackdown between the LG Ally and the Motorola DROID. And both of these phones are, of course, Android-powered smartphones for Verizon Wireless. And if you have a request for a Wirefly cell phone Schmackdown, feel free to send it our way. And if we're feeling generous, we'll do our best to get one up for you. So let us know. And both these phones are running Android version 2.1, and the Motorola DROID has the stock version of the Android interface, while the LG Ally has an LG overlay on top of the Android user interface. Basically, that overlay is going to give you a set of shortcuts at the bottom. You can tap to get your standard Android menu. You can see some of the LG widgets as well that come with the overlay. So there is a time and weather widget, somewhat similar to HTC's Sense user interface. And you do have a socialite for social networking. You can toggle back and forth between Facebook and Twitter. And there is an app for that as well. A messaging widget. So really a pretty simple overlay as far as overlays go. Although sometimes simple is better, certainly. And if you want, you can easily toggle back and forth between the LG overlay and the standard Android overlay. So there's the socialite application. And on the Ally, when you're in this theme, you'll have your applications come pre-installed, broken down up top, and then any apps you download from the Android market at the bottom. And the LG Ally is going to be free at Wirefly.com, and you can pick up the DROID right now for $19.99. And both these phones do have full slide-out QWERTY keyboards, making them a great comparison. Probably two phones that you might be looking at if you prefer the physical QWERTY keyboard. We'll take a quick hardware tour of both phones and start off with a closer look at the keyboard. And as I've said before, the Motorola DROID does not have my favorite keyboard, because it is fairly flat and also flush with the bottom part of the phone, and also in that dedicated grid format. So not the best travel on this keyboard, and not the best to feel either. Then of course you have your four-way directional key right there. You also have the four-way directional key on the LG Ally, but the keys are separated and not in that grid format, and you can see that they are raised above the bottom platform of the phone and also offer a very nice click feel. So when it comes down to keyboards, my choice is the LG Ally, although both phones decent keyboards, and it'll come down to a personal preference, and with practice you'll certainly be able to fly on the Motorola DROID as well. So just my personal opinion there as far as keyboards go. We'll continue our tour of the hardware on the Motorola DROID. On the front, a set of touch-sensitive buttons. You have your back key, menu key, home key, and search button. Here's your standard Android interface with 3 home screens. So 3 home screens versus 5 on the LG Ally. So certainly a consideration there. On the left side, a micro USB port for charging and syncing. And on the right side, you have your volume rocker and a dedicated camera button. And up top, a standard size 3.5mm headphone jack, then a dedicated power button and screen lock button. And on the back of the Motorola DROID, a 5-megapixel camera with autofocus and dual LED flash. And on the back of the LG Ally, a 3.2-megapixel camera with LED flash and autofocus. So you will get a brighter flash on the Motorola DROID, and also as far as camera quality goes, a better quality camera on the Motorola DROID than on the LG Ally. And you can record video on the Motorola DROID at near DVD quality, while on the LG Ally you'll still get pretty decent video, but not DVD quality. And flipping back to the front, we'll flip both phones back over. A large 3.7-inch capacitive touchscreen, 480 by 854 pixels on the Motorola DROID, and capacitive meaning that you don't have to apply pressure to force action on the screen. You can also use pinch to zoom because it does have multi-touch support. Also a capacitive touchscreen on the LG Ally with multi-touch. Although it is a smaller screen, get that close so you can see that. And at 3.2 inches and 480 by 800. So really similar resolutions. You do get a few more pixels on the Motorola DROID than on the LG Ally. As far as battery life goes, I can't say that they were charged up the same when the day started today, but I have gotten better battery life out of the Motorola DROID than out of the LG Ally. Although those two differentials are not comparable because the LG Ally was not fully charged. And it's also worth noting, beneath the battery cover on the Motorola DROID, you get a pre-installed 16GB micro SD card. And on the right side of the LG Ally, you do have a micro SD card slot, so more easily accessible than behind the battery cover on the Motorola DROID. But only a 4GB micro SD card comes pre-installed on the Ally. So right out of the box, you get 4 times as much storage space on the DROID than on the Ally. Also on the right side of the Ally, a dedicated camera button. If we flip to the left, there's your volume rocker and a micro USB port for charging and syncing. And on the front, dedicated hardware keys for your send, end, also your power button, menu, and home button, and then touch-sensitive back and search buttons. You can see that you also get a virtual on-screen QWERTY keyboard in addition to your physical slide-out QWERTY keyboard. And that's going to go, of course, on both phones. It can be used in landscape mode or portrait mode, as we currently have it in. We'll take a closer look at that when we check out our web browser. It is worth talking about the design on both phones. Certainly different designs, and a very unique design on the Motorola DROID, while the LG Ally adopts a more traditional design. And also, of course, very different feels. The Motorola DROID feels very industrial, very sturdy, and almost metallic, with a rubberized feel as well. While the LG Ally, still a very sturdy phone, but a little bit more of a plasticky feel. But both phones do feel great in your hand. We'll launch our browsers on both phones, and I do have both phones already fired up with google.com. And use our virtual QWERTY keyboards to type in Wirefly. You can use your virtual QWERTY keyboard in portrait, as I mentioned, or accelerometer to switch into landscape. So we'll type Wirefly. There we are. Tap Go. Both phones are connected over the same Wi-Fi network. Also, of course, have Bluetooth support and GPS as well. So there's Wirefly. We'll get back the DROID to portrait mode. And launch Wirefly. You do have a 600 MHz processor on the LG Ally, which is 50 MHz faster than the Motorola DROID's processor, actually. It is a newer phone. And both phones do have 256 megabytes of RAM. And fast load times, you can see, on both phones. We use our multi-touch to zoom in on a phone and do a quick speed test. So we'll check out the Motorola Click XT at the same time. You can see that that screen real estate on the Motorola DROID definitely makes a difference, particularly when you're web browsing or using the virtual keypad. We'll try to tap that at the same time and see which phone comes out on top. So the Motorola DROID is done. Had a pretty good 5-second lead on the LG Ally, actually, despite a slower processor. And our results, actually, when we've been checking this out ourselves and not on camera, have varied. And the LG Ally has come out on top multiple times, and the DROID, of course, on different occasions has come out on top. So it really varies. So no clear winner as far as browsing speeds go. But that is your Wirefly cell phone Schmackdown, the LG Ally versus the Motorola DROID. Be sure to comment, let us know which of these phones you're going to pick, and also be sure to check both phones out on wirefly.com, the LG Ally for free. You can pick up the Droid for $19.99. I'm Ari from wirefly.com. Thanks for watching, and be sure to hit that subscribe button.